Welcome in, Good Karma Wrestling. Brian Roach, Jonathan Hood with you here, and we are less than a week away from Las Vegas, where the wrestling world takes over Las Vegas. And one of those events, Bloodsport 13, will be taking place, Triller TV, and down the strip at the Palm Casino. Joining us now, it is Josh Barnett. Bloodsport 13, I'm sure it was an idea at one point. Now it's number 13. How crazy is it for you to hear that you're now 13 years into this experience?
Yeah, I could always see it. I can say that there are certain milestones I wanted to hit prior to this, but then there were things that I never expected to have here at Bloodsport 13 at this point, and also with Bloodsport Bushido last year. So things are going pretty damn well, and I know that at the end of the day, man, we're making cool stuff.
Josh, I think that what's remarkable is that you are bringing everyone together just to be able to work with Triple H and Tony Khan and other promoters. You know how this business is, and just even in MMA, just promoters just don't want to work with others. How are you able to bring these relationships together for it to work for you?
Um, to be honest, I think that the probably the biggest factor is being a consistent, dependable person whose word is good and that they can trust. By doing good business and by not approaching any of this with like with any sort of personal either animus or excitement. Yeah, personally, I am excited about the wrestlers that I get to work with, and that's the reason why they're on the show. Not about where they're from, but who they are. You know, it's the wrestler. This is a wrestler's show, which is so surprising when now I get a small amount of people pushing back, throwing a fit about WWE talent being on the show, and this one having the most that we've had so far, as if somehow, for one, they're all upset that no one would cross promote and the organizations wouldn't work together. Which, by the way, it wasn't all due to just competitive animus or contrarian views. Everybody's wrestler is a massive line item in the total value of a company, and there's a bunch of money put into every single person that goes under contract. So to let me have someone who's worth $1 million or something come work on my show, that's a big ask, right? That's a ton of trust. So I never really faulted them for not necessarily having wrestlers work Bloodsport, because I actually been speaking to Hunter and Regal for years when Vince was still in, and the answer would usually be, no, not this time. It's like, no problem, but let me know if you change your mind. But they also don't get upset, and they seem to forget, like, there was cards that there was a ton of New Japan talent on it, and it's like,
Mhm.
it isn't about it being indie or working with this group or that group. It's about me trying to put the wrestlers in the ring that I think would flourish and would make great matches and that I want to work with. And that's that. And, it is pretty cool to be able to bring people from all over, because then, like I said, it's access to these wrestlers that I want to put in the ring, that I feel are going to give every bit of value to this show, and more so for the fans that are going to watch.
When it comes to that WWE side, Shayna Baszler, Karrion Kross, Pete Dunne, Natty Neidhart, all a part of this show. From your perspective, what goes into the ask? Like, what makes someone stand out that you say, all right, this is someone I want to be part of Bloodsport?
Well, it may surprise you, but a good portion of people that end up on the show beat the door down to be in it. And if I was to tell you everyone that was like in my ear for months on end, you would be shocked at these wrestlers. You would think, like, why would they ever need to ask for that? And I'm not sitting back being like, yo, I'm just gonna pull on their strings and string them along. And no, I'm not. It's all about what we can make work and what is possible. And um, so I'm glad to always have who I've got on my show. But I think also people, they don't realize that in some cases there's tremendous history there. I know for a fact, I would bet money on this. There's people that have no idea that I not only did I train Shayna Baszler as an MMA athlete, but I'm the one who trained her and brought her into professional wrestling. I'm her coach. The reason she's in the WWE is because I asked her about making a choice at going into pro wrestling out of fighting, and then saying, if that's what you want to do, if this is a path you'd like to try, I got you. I'll train you for this as well, and I'll get you going. I'm sure there's people that have no idea, which is really interesting to me, but okay. But more so than that, or in addition to that, I should say, not more so. That's pretty freaking major if you ask me. But
Yes.
in addition, Cross is an OG Bloodsport guy. He's one of my guys from the very first show, and he was on the second show, and then boom, he got picked up, which is it's a pretty common occurrence on Bloodsport. A lot of shows have seen athletes go even from their first appearance there, and then boom, already picked up by a major. And then with Neidhart, I've been working with Natty Neidhart I've known her for over a decade. I and the Hart family have had a relationship for an incredibly long time. I've been Harry's coach since he was 19 years old or 20 or something like that. I've known Natty for forever, and she has made trips out to LA or been in LA and around the gym and always made time to come and train with us. And she was someone that I had worked with Shayna when I was bringing her up and training her in pro wrestling. And, and Shayna would work with her during the fight practice. These are not new people to me, right, even though they may be new people to some of you, but they really shouldn't even be new to Bloodsport.
What's interesting about what you said is that, and just like in this business, you know about everything. It's either rumor, innuendo, or it just leaks out or something like that, some kind of shoot tape. Josh, you're telling us stuff that no one knows, and also the athletes that you work with, they haven't said anything at all about working with you. What does that say about them? That's been very quiet, and they've been working hard. You see them on the mainstream, AEW, WWE, but they haven't said anything about it. What does that say?
Well, one, they don't really have to say anything. I know, at least from the sake of people like, Natty has been doing a lot to let people know how important this match is to her. Shayna, of course. I feel like, I think a lot of these people kind of take it for granted that this should already be known. I mean, there's so much social media content in the past of Natty being with me and stuff of us interacting online. I think a lot of people just like, oh, people don't know that, or how are they not familiar? But even still, my job is to go out there and to bring the best out of the wrestlers. And whether or not people know that they trained with me, I mean, sure, whatever. But if the results in the ring are great, then I've done my job. That's what I'm supposed to do. And with Bloodsport, I'm supposed to put on the hardest hitting event in pro wrestling in a way that is not possible for anybody else to really create. I don't care if you take ropes off and you try to use our rules, and it won't be the same. If I'm not there, it isn't the same. And there's just no way of getting around that for anybody else. And on top of that, that everybody who is a part of Bloodsport leaves Bloodsport elevated, whether they won or they lost, that they are seen in a different light by everybody out there, that they are seen as a notch higher than where they were before they got in that ring. And then even still, that they were able to show a part of themselves that they can't show anywhere else. That there isn't someone telling them that they got to do this and do that and then cut a bunch of their minutes out of their match, or that they have to go out there and they got to, make sure that you always work the left side and blah, 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 or, gotta get to a go home and hit your finisher. Like, it doesn't work like that in Bloodsport. And this is a ring made for wrestlers to be as free as they can be.
For those that just see the name Bloodsport and assume like, oh, it must be violent, it must be this, which it is, how important is the variety of things? You have a Zack Sabre Jr. versus Jonathan Gresham, which is going to be straight old school wrestling.
Yeah.
How important is the variety on a show like this?
Well, I mean, to me, it just resembles reality. Every fight's not the same. Everybody's not the same type of fighter. Everybody's not even built the same. A guy could be the same height, same weight, and yet one guy's got longer reach, or he's got longer forearm bones, or longer femurs, whatever. Like, they're all built differently. And one guy's got much stronger lower body, and another guy's got a much stronger upper body. I mean, you're going to see, even from just the way people think and how they feel and how they approach the world, how that will impact what they would choose to do in a situation versus another. So, and if you'll also notice, a couple of things I like to do with Bloodsport. One, I like to have true heavyweights fill up on my cards as much as I can, because one of the things that kind of bothered me about going to indie wrestling shows, even many years ago at PWG and other places, actual heavyweights were in short order. And so when I started off with Bloodsport, you can go look through these cards. Like, we usually, even if you compare us to WrestleMania week, nobody's going to have more heavyweights on their card, like true heavyweights, than usually a Bloodsport card, than a WWE match. That's about it. And even, I just find that was the wrestling that I grew up on, and I felt like the heavyweights always helped push that larger than life, two titans in the ring, the heroic quality of watching the spectacle of wrestling. And also, you'll notice that I match people up generally in and around weight classes. I mean, we don't have strict weight classes, but I try to make it that portrayal of this being a serious event, help that out by having those weight classes and things like that, or what you could see visually. I mean, we could do something where it is totally David versus Goliath, and that's not a problem. But generally, I try to make it seem evenly matched.
So Gabe Kidd is someone who is, number one, loud. Josh, he's not cerebral like you. You're very measured, very Harley Race, like 120 over 80 is your blood pressure. You're good. But Gabe Kidd likes to talk a lot, but he's very talented. We've seen a lot of him in New Japan. What do you like about Kidd in general?
His tenacity and I'll double on that tenacity, because he had tenacity when it came to where he started, to what he's gone through, to where he's at. And he had to bite and claw and scratch and fight with himself and to try and build the person that he is today. And to see that journey, I remember training a young Gabe Kidd, and him seeing me working with Coughlin and going like, I need to put on weight. What do you suggest? So I gave him some different advice on diet and macros. And then I suggested some stuff that I was doing with Alex at the time, based on some Mike Mentzer protocols, some different supersetting. And, all throughout our relationship, where it's been conversations, and there have been times where Gabe has needed advice and I've been there. But at the same time, he's his own man, and I'm seeing him on his journey. So, now that he's up there, he's at the running with the big boys. Now it's time that he's got to see a different side of Josh Barnett.
Well, that's the thing along those lines. Like, it's Vegas. You're making the matches. You can relax a little. Why are you stepping in there with someone like Gabe Kidd?
Why shouldn't I? I want to see. I was there at Wrestle Kingdom when he wrestled. Well, I guess technically it's Wrestle Dynasty or whatever it was, because AEW, it was that night.
Yeah.
I saw him against Kenny and thought, okay, maybe now's the time. Maybe now's the time to check in on Gabe. Not like we have in the past, but in the ring.
We have never met or got a chance to talk to Timothy Thatcher here on Good Karma Wrestling.
Pretty much everyone else. I've had people go, do you think you can get him to actually come on this on my podcast? I go, I have no idea. Tim does not really do podcasts. Not a thing for him. I'll ask him, but I'm going to tell you he's likely going to decline.
I like that, actually. There's a mystery there. Mm-hmm. Like his match against Pete Dunne, I have circled, Brian. I don't know about you. I mean, this is going to be something I'm really fascinated in. Pete Dunne is a badass, and Timothy Thatcher, which we've seen, okay, he had his run in WWE. It was good, but I just know everywhere else, that guy's a must-see. I look forward to that match.
Yeah, well, me too. I think it's an incredible pairing. They're very well matched on paper, and they have a very similar dynamic in that sense. I also feel like Bloodsport is where Tim shines the most and the best. This is the greatest environment for him, and again, he's a guy who, I'm biased. He comes from my lineage. I've trained him and coached him, and over the years. And I like to see my guys thrive, especially when I know what they can do.
Man, it seems like we hear about those coaching trees, the Barnett coaching tree in pro wrestling. A lot of branches on it. For
There are. There are actually.
for fans heading to Vegas, there's a lot of wrestling going on over those 4 or 5 days. Why Bloodsport? Why should fans make their way over to the Palms Casino and check you guys out?
It's the hardest hitting event of all of professional wrestling, let alone WrestleMania week. There's going to be matchups that you will not find anywhere else. Even after Bloodsport is done, you won't see this matchup repeated, let alone you won't see it in the way that you'll see it at Bloodsport. If you're not there, you are missing out on something that isn't available to you anywhere else. And we are generally, as we'll trend on Twitter and all these different things. We're always the talk of WrestleMania week. We're number one. We're the one that gets the most interest, the most eyeballs, the most electricity around what we do. And it's not because we're running around talking about how great we are. It's because we get in the ring and we just let it hang out. And we put together the matchups that no one else can. And we show you the side of wrestlers that can't be shown someplace else. And, you don't know what's going to happen in Bloodsport. You can't watch these matches and go, oh, yeah, here, this is going, then that, and then, okay, then here's it. No, it doesn't work like that. These matches could be 20 seconds or 20 minutes. You don't know. And how and what you think is going to be the thing that is going to make the difference in the end, you can't predict it.
Josh, this is also going to be on Triller TV Plus, correct?
Yes, it will.
Yeah. A great relationship with Triller TV, which is awesome.
They've been great for us.
Yeah, they've been very good. I want to ask lastly about the future of Bloodsport. Great cards, unpredictability, fun. It's what we like as fans. But what is the future of Bloodsport for you? I know you have to have some big ideas about what's the next step for Bloodsport.
I'd like to increase some things production-wise, and bring on some different sponsors to back up the product as well, because it's all about expanding in the right ways. It's not just about doing more shows or spending more money just to do this or to do that, but to be in a pointed manner, to do things that I think will be best at accentuating what we already do. And that's what's important, to elevate this ring, to make every match in there stand out even that much more, and to make it an even better viewing experience for the fans. The other thing is, I'd like to eventually, well, I should say finally, do start our once a year, one night tournament series. It's something that we were supposed to do. God, what was it? It was going to be WrestleMania week, a Bloodsport during WrestleMania week, but then COVID screwed everything up, and we're putting all the efforts into it, and then it all went to waste, and we haven't been able to go back to it since. And that's something that is still one of the highest priorities to have created and to get moving. And then lastly, taking this more internationally, especially doing more in Japan, because there's things that I can do in Japan, matchups I can make, and wrestlers I can have over there that I can't do here in the States for a variety of reasons. And we've worked with some good partners over there, especially Abema, who did an incredible job of shooting Bloodsport Bushido, which you can find on Triller. And the other thing is the support from New Japan, Glate, Noah, Stardom. Everyone was fantastic to help make that. What a great show that it was.
Thursday, April 17th, Bloodsport 13. If you're in Vegas, the Pearl Theater at the Palms Casino. If you're not in Vegas, Triller TV, check them out. Josh, best of luck next week. Appreciate the time.
You're welcome.